Can you briefly introduce about you? You can, with your location, where you're from, and what your background studies back home in India, and what you're doing now in Netherlands.
Yes. Right. First of all, thanks a lot for having me here, Murugesh. It was really nice of me to be able to do something like this. So, I'm a Bengali, but I am born and raised in Mumbai, and I studied here. I've lived here for 18 years of my life, and then I went to BITS Pilani to do my bachelor's in electrical electronics engineering, and further I did my master's in microelectronics from TU Delft. So I'm a microelectronics engineer by training, and right now I'm in between jobs. I did a year of research associateship in TU Delft itself in my lab in the Elsevier laboratory, and I just changed my job and I'm in between that.
So what is your bachelor specialization, by the
way? In electrical and electronics engineering in BITS.
Now in microelectronics.
Yeah. So now my specialization, basically what happens in Delft is we have, you get the degree is in electrical engineering, like the MSc is in electrical engineering. But in that, my track is microelectronics, within which I have specialized in semiconductor fabrication and a specific type of device that I built in my master thesis, and it's a bit different. So yeah.
Okay. Mine also kind of micro nano manufacturing side. So
right.
I'm into this microelectronics, so I can understand now like how it diverges and what it separates and all.
Yes. It's very interesting actually.
Yeah. How did you come across this your admission progress? Like, is it a self-funded one or any scholarship? How did you come across?
Yeah. So firstly, I was actually right when I was doing my bachelor's, I knew exactly where I wanted to go into in my master thesis, like in my master work. So I always wanted to work in the MEMS field. So I was specifically looking for universities where professors or research groups were working in MEMS, and in MEMS specifically in biomems. So that's how I basically came across this program. And then a senior of mine was also studying in TU Delft, but in aerospace. It was actually so when I went in, it was self-funded. The first year of it's a 2-year program, nominal 2-year, and then it can extend up to 4 to 5 years. So the first year was funded, and then from the second year onward, I got a scholarship from my lab itself. So you can do that once you get into the university. The second year scholarship, like your thesis work and all of that scholarship, can be directly be funded by your research lab, and you can apply for that depending on your merit scores and if you graduate with an honors and things like that. So
I think that is good to know. I could understand somewhere like some of the countries have similar structure. I have been to them about self-funding. So what about with coursework? Like, do you have so many courses in the first year, or is it minimum? How is it?
Yeah, so we basically we have about 120 credits, and the first quarter. So we have a quarter-based system in TU Delft. We had a quarter-based system in TU Delft. So it was basically 8 weeks per quarter, and at the end of 8 weeks we had an exam, and then a week's gap, and then again 8 weeks. The first quarter was mandatory courses, at least in the electrical engineering program. In some other courses, there are like a couple of other electives that you can take, specialization electives. But in electrical engineering, we had mandatory courses in the first quarter. And so there were 3 mandatory courses, and then in the next quarter, you start taking your specialization courses. And basically, the idea is to be able to finish all the courses, so 60 credits in your first year. And then in the next year, you begin your thesis already, which is you get an option of either taking it for 60 credits or taking it for 45 credits. But this was in 2015 when I went. So from the 2017 batch, they changed it. And so from now on, what is going to happen is anyone who applies now will have a 45 credits thesis only, because 60 credits is really, really tasking. Like it's a minimum year, and then it increases. You're also an MS in research, so I guess you understand it becomes really difficult. Like just focus on one.
That's what I was wondering. Like we do have like a minimum coursework for MS people, unlike MTech people. That difference. It's like a course based and thesis based in other countries curriculum. So it is a little puzzling. How can you manage that many courses? So it is total 2 years course, right?
Yeah, the nominal period is 2 years. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you'll do 1 year research and 1 year coursework. Now you're saying it will be full of, most of research.
You got cut there. I lost your voice for a second.
So you are saying the research. So research is increased, so the course base is reduced. Is it like that?
No, not really. So initially, in the batch that I had gone for, the first year is mandatory courses. Like, it is easier if you do mandatory. If you all finish all your courses in the first year, which is 60 credits, and then you start your 60 credit thesis afterwards. Of course, that's not always possible because because of several different problems. So you can always space it out depending upon the way you want. So a lot of people, what they do is they try to finish as many of the courses that they really need to begin their thesis. So to begin your thesis, you need a minimum of 48 credits if it's a 60 credit thesis, and if it's a 45 credit thesis, then you need minimum 72 credits to begin your thesis.
Yeah.
So most people try to finish the minimum number of credits that are required to begin your thesis, and then while they do their thesis, they take free electives, humanities, marketing, whatever you want. So there's always a chance like that, but it gets tough to do something like that. I'm sorry, maybe I'm breaking up. Oh yeah.
Now voice, is it clear? My voice?
Actually? Now it's clear. Yeah.
Okay. Just.
Oh, it broke up again.
Broke up. I think I should speak louder. Now is it fine?
No. What happens is it like all of a sudden sort of like goes into mute and then it starts again. It's something like that.
Okay. I think that is 1 minute. I will just.
You can hear me properly, is it?
I think this is because of the voltage fluctuations. I am just connected multiple devices together. Let me remove one of them. I think that.
Yeah.
So what is this like? Sometimes I wonder how these circuits are connected. This is so the discharge will overflow in one direction and then it will not overflow in other direction.
Yeah.
What is happening?
Like a valve system, but.
This light has some more voltage discharge probably.
Yeah.
It's separated out for the mic. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We are discussing. This is fine. The course program and the funding and all, it is good. You have explained nicely. So further, we'll try to know the process of application because you have said like self-funded. I'm speaking to some of these regular scholarship programs recently. I'm talking to people. So there is that many people they try for scholarships, and though let it be, some people are not too much serious. So for those people, I'm not saying anything. It's up to their decision. But some people are really interested, and even though they didn't get scholarship, they wanted to go and explore abroad. For those kind of people, like it will be much helpful if you say like how this application. How did you enroll in the university? What is the difficulties you have faced in your application process?
Sure. So okay. So there are actually the enrollment cycle goes on until April of the year, whichever year you're going to enroll for, but the scholarship applications end in December. So there's only one scholarship application round, and 2 people per faculty get the faculty scholarships. So it's quite prestigious, and the procedure is exactly the same. You have just like any other university. We had to. So in Europe, GRE is not mandatory, but in my year, GRE wasn't mandatory in 2015. But from 2016 onwards, they have made GRE also mandatory. So now GRE will be compulsory for everyone, and you have to submit 2 recommendation letters. You can get it from your academics, like professor, or if you work, you can get it from your boss, your supervisor, your manager, whoever you want. But also it's not like the normal recommendation letter system that usually like you apply and you give in the email address of your professor or your manager, and then they get an email to upload a letter. It's not like that. It's a hard copy letter that you print. You have to sign and get it stamped from your professor or whoever your referee basically, and then you scan it, and you have to upload these copies onto the portal that they have. For the scholarship, it's also exactly the same the process, of course, with a statement of purpose as well that you always have to write. And but in addition to this, you have to also submit an additional prose, which you have to mention why you want to do the scholarship, why you think that you are eligible for the scholarship. And it is of course helpful if you have you are in the top 2% or 5% of your batch within that time frame, like in that semester. So at least in that semester. So that really helps. It is a bit difficult to just get a scholarship when you're entering, but I will say another thing, that in the Netherlands there are different scholarships as well. So the one that I just spoke of, that is the faculty scholarship, which is given by the TU Delft. There's another kind of scholarship called the Nuffic Nesso scholarship, which is Nuffic Nesso is basically the sort of the education. It's a department of the Ministry of Education of the Netherlands, which is basically responsible for bringing in international students from different countries, and they also have an office in Mumbai. So Nuffic Nesso has a different set of scholarships altogether, which you can go to their website and you can check it. Like what are the requirements aren't very different, but they have a little bit higher number of higher intake basically for the scholarship recipients. I think it's about 4 or 5 per country, as far as I think something like that. You have to go and check. And other than that, if you just want a other than that, you can always get a scholarship when you are studying in your second year or whichever year you are in, after you get in via your professor or your research group or whatever that is up to the discretion of the professor. And if you get into an honors program, which also you can't just get into an honors program from the when you apply initially to go to the university. This is something that comes afterwards. So once you start studying after your first semester, depending on your grades, you can enter into an honors program. For that, you have to do 20 credits extra. So in total, 140 credits in 2 years, and you have to have a specific amount of grade threshold and everything. And for that also you can get a scholarship. That was about that.
Many times, when the applicants are saying about opportunities, they'll miss to verify that the possibility of local funding details actually. So it's we can't get in the website when we are searching from some other country. When we get into university, existing university, or if you go for some intern, that time even I have come across that is these kind of things are there. That is good to, now people whoever is watching, they can consider it. That's very nice. And what about this application fee? Is it there for masters or PhD in your university information?
Yes, there is an application fee. It is 25 euros, I think, for the masters. For the PhD application, so I actually did 1 year of research associateship, which was it was actually a PhD program, which I did not finish. I did only a year of research associateship because I got another opportunity. Since I entered directly from my masters, there was no fee. But for outside international candidates, I am not exactly sure. There is no option for an integrated PhD in TU Delft. You have to do a master's, and then only people with an existing master's degree can apply for a PhD. So I'm not sure exactly how much the cost is, though. So sorry about that.
That is okay. Some relative. Why I'm asking this question is I'm highlighting some institutes where the application process is very simple. EPFL I have explained recently, and you can the application process is very supportive for the scholars who are aspiring. So institutes, if you apply for one institute, some other institutes also will be considered your application. So
right. Yeah.
Getting a clarity so that whoever is willing, they can verify this also. To consider as per the situations.